There is no specific date as to when the Renaissance era started. Everything was based on words that are passed by the mouth. It was indicated that the 14th century was the beginning of different artistic approaches and has surfaced in Rome, Italy. During this period, art was said to encapsulate the realistic means of the world via artistic expressions, hence bringing back historic events and ideologies during the classical Roman culture such as literature, philosophy, and many more.
Two of the most famous paintings made in the Renaissance are the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper painting, both made by an artist named Leonardo da Vinci. He is recognized as an active painter back then and has widely influenced the Renaissance era in terms of creativity and advancement. Firstly, let's talk about the Mona Lisa painting. Some claim that Mona Lisa is appreciated by many people because of its captivating smile and the eyes that many people are fascinated by. They claim that they appear to be observed by its eyes wherever they are observing the piece. King Francois I welcomed Leonardo da Vinci to France and purchased the artwork in 1518 due to his great admiration towards it. Since 1797 up until this day, the Mona Lisa painting has been securely kept in the Louvre Museum, the biggest museum containing other revolutionary artworks made in history.
The Last Supper, painted by Leonardo da Vinci, was not made continuously. It took several years and attempts before it was presented to the public. The painting was commissioned in 1494 by the Duke of Milan, Lodovico Sforza. It was completed in the refectory of the convent of Santa Maria delle Grazie in Milan, Italy, which is its original place, a room that Sforza hoped to create as a family mausoleum, and the painting was to be the centerpiece. The mural was inspired by Jesus' final supper with his apostles, as reported in John chapter 13, verse 21 of the Gospel of John. It's worth noting that, with Christ as the focal point, he's nicely framed by the entryway.
The marriage feast at Cana in 1563 by Paolo Veronese was commissioned by the Benedictine monks of the Basilica of San Giorgio Maggiore in Venice to decorate the refectory built by Palladio. The picture is currently housed in the Louvre Museum. It is a representational painting that depicts the biblical story of the marriage at Cana at which Jesus converted water into wine. Paolo Cagliari, known as Paolo Veronese, was an Italian Renaissance painter based in Venice, known for extremely large history paintings of religion and mythology such as the wedding at Cana and the feast in the house of Levi. He was born in 1528 in Verona, Italy, then died on April 19, 1588 in Venice, Italy. It represents the water into wine miracle of Jesus in the grand style of the sumptuous feast of food and music that were characteristic of 16th century Venetian society.
Children's Games is an oil-on panel by Flemish Renaissance artist Pieter Bruegel the Elder, painted in 1560. It is currently held and exhibited at the Kunsthistorisches Museum in Vienna. Pieter Bruegel the Elder was the most significant artist of Dutch and Flemish Renaissance painting, a painter and printmaker. Known for his landscapes and peasant scenes, he was a pioneer in making both types of subjects the focus in large paintings. Rolling hoops, walking on stilts, spinning hoops, riding hobby horses, staging mock tournaments, playing leapfrog and blind man's bluff, performing handstands, inflating pig's bladder, and playing with dolls, and other types are among the activities performed by the children, who range in age from toddlers to adolescents. They've also taken care over the enormous edifice that dominates the square. It may be a town hall or another important municipal structure, underlining the moral that people in charge of civic affairs are like children in God's eyes. The scenery in the top left-hand corner helps to break up the crowded scene, but youngsters are still bathing in the river and playing on its banks. Based on 16th century humanist theory, is that the painting shows the importance of playing in children's development.
The Rape of Europa is a painting made by the Italian artist Titian. It was painted back in 1560 to 1562. It was exhibited as the part of the prominent collection of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum of Boston, Massachusetts. Who is Titian? Titian, also known as Tiziano Vitelli or Vitellio, was a Renaissance Venetian painter who was regarded as the most prominent member of the Venetian school of 16th century. He was born in Pieve di Cadore near Belluno, Italy, and died in Venice, Italy, on August 27, 1576. During his lifetime, he was known as da Cadore, which means from Cadore, after his native location. It is inspired by a story of Ovid's Metamorphoses. Jupiter, the Roman form of the Greek king of the gods, Zeus, was infatuated with Europa. In Greek mythology, Europa was a Phoenician princess of Argive Greek origin and the mother of King Minos of Crete. Zeus, or Jupiter gods, transforms himself into a beautiful white bull and joins a herd grazing near the seashore. While the young maiden was gathering flowers, she saw the bull and, fascinated by his handsome flanks and gentle behavior, caressed him and got onto his back. Zeus took the opportunity to abduct Europa and swim to the island of Crete. He then revealed his true identity, raped, and impregnated her. During the Third Reich and World War II, it depicts the epic story of the systematic theft, deliberate destruction, and miraculous survival of Europe's cultural treasures.
The Virgin and Child with the Young Saint John the Baptist is an artwork that dates from the 15th century from 1490 by Sandro Botticelli and his workshop, an Italian Renaissance painter. The Cleveland Museum of Art houses it. Sandro Botticelli, also known as Alessandro di Mariano di Vanni Felipepi, was an early Renaissance Italian painter. Botticelli's posthumous reputation deteriorated until the late 19th century, when the Pre-Raphaelites rediscovered him and sparked a appraisal of his work. Since then, his paintings have been regarded as evocative of early Renaissance painting, linear beauty. Jacob Jordaens, unlike his famous contemporary Peter Paul Rubens, never traveled to Italy to study antique and Renaissance art. He instead spent his life in Antwerp, where he painted peasants and other common people. Jordaens depict the Holy Family as sturdy, simply clad folks in humble surroundings in these paintings. Nonetheless, he incorporates different nuances to give the image a deeper meaning. Mary doesn't have a halo, but her coiled braid resembles one, and her high-back wicker chair seems like a throne. We see the baby Jesus wrapped in a swaddling garment.
An early picture may be from around 1480 that bears a strong influence from Botticelli, with whom Filipino trained. In Florence, the topic was very popular. Tobias and the Archangel Raphael, as well as Saint Jerome kneeling in penitence, Saint Francis receiving the stigmata, and other saints are shown in miniature in the rocky environment. Filipino Lippi was the illegitimate son of painter Fra Filippo Lippi and Lucretia Buti, and was born in Prato, Tuscany. Filipino received his initial training from his father. They relocated to Spoleto, where Filipino worked as a workshop adjutant on the cathedral's construction. When his father died in 1469, he finished the frescoes in the cathedral with Storie della Vergine, or the Histories of the Virgin. Filipino Lippi finished his apprenticeship in Botticelli's workshop, where his father had been a student. Botticelli had only Filipino Lippi as a helper in 1472, according to the documents of the Painters Guild.